So how did I meet my husband Paul? We met in 1986, I think it was.
Back in 1985, I remember I flew in one night from Tahiti. I'd been to Club Med Maria, had a ball, and rustled up a bird, went out to dinner, and I walked into this restaurant with this other chick, and as I walked in there was this blonde girl having dinner with a friend of mine, Johnny Palmer.
And I was actually on a date with one of his friends whose name was John, and I walked into this restaurant and Paul was sitting there and he was really super suntanned, and he was there with this other friend of his, Lizzie.
Anyway, she was hanging all over him, you know, patting his hand like his hand was going to fall off and all that sort of stuff. So I sat down. I thought, gee, she's not bad looking, so I sat down.
And so he was sitting there and he was really full on and, you know, quite cocky and, you know, quite full of it. And John said, oh, you know, do you want to sit with them? And I said, no, let's have our own table. So we went up and sat on our own table because I thought Paul was so full on.
There was sort of discussion as to whether or not we would join them for dinner, and we were not welcome, I think.
So we went down the back of the restaurant and sat down and, you know, had dinner, and then Paul came and crashed our table with this other girl, and he sort of said things like, oh, you know, I didn't get the good looks of the family, and so me, of course, falls for it and goes, oh, well, you're not too bad, you know, all this sort of stuff.
Megan started asking me a few questions, and one of my favourite lines was, I said to Megan, she somehow asked about brothers and sisters. I said I had an older brother and I had a younger brother, but they got all the looks and I was the ugly one. And she said to me, oh no, you're not bad. And I thought, I've hooked her, no problem.
He kind of tried to bait me.
Lizzie and I had dinner on our own, they had dinner, we caught up a bit later, and then Megan told me she worked at a cafe up the road.
So that was that, and I went home. John, the guy who I'd gone on the date with, that was our first date, and he said to me, look, I'm going off to Singapore, promise me you won't see anyone, you know, while I'm away. And I said, well, it's only a week. I didn't even think, you know, I was waitressing, juggling 1,000 jobs. While I was waitressing, Paul came in to see me and he asked me, he said, look, I'm going out on a date. I'll come and see you on the way back and we'll have a cup of coffee.
John Palmer, my friend, was going away to Singapore, so I'd had a pretty hectic night, and one of those nights, I always used to double book myself. I called in around 11:30 or thereabouts just to check in on Megs, and she thought I was being friendly and nice, which I was, very friendly and nice always.
So, you know, I'm thinking, oh, he's just checking up on me for John, you know, making sure, you know, everything's okay. No, he wasn't. So we started going out while poor old John was away, so that was the beginning.
And anyway, she came around to my house, and that was actually the beginning of a relationship that was to endure, and now we've been married nearly 21 years. How about that?
And then we were very on and off over the years, you know, because I met him when I was 19 and we got married when I was 23, and that's 20 years ago now. We're in our 21st year of marriage, and I think it's better than ever.
The line that got it was two brothers, older and younger, but both of them much better looking than me, and they got all the looks, and Megan said, no, you're not so bad. I thought, I'll remember that one forever.